carries still left open. IG can opt into that, but seems like with the fact that you can trade them quite evenly in terms of, hey, if I get Caitlyn, it doesn't matter because there's Jinx and Aphelios in this. They are just going to keep indexing into the Viktor. IG did first rotate this on red side before, so it seems like they have a lot of belief that this is the go-to champion on 12.1 without Corki.
Okay, Caitlyn does get locked in here for light. This is already a powerful rotation, right? Caitlyn and Lee Sin, this feels really, really scary for IG, but they do have themselves that Viktor, so maybe they've got something more to work with. I'd love to see the Jhin. Jhin historically does very well into Caitlyn in the laning phase. He can match her push. He can do a lot to maintain presence in the bottom lane. So we'll see.
Yes, Munchables. Give me the Ashe, brother. Give me the Ashe, the Hawk shot, the Enchantress Slayer. No, we get a Samira. So, gonna be a lot of action. I will say, I don't know how well this synergizes with your mid lane pick coming in. Samira gonna be dashing in forward, trying to be the aggressor. Viktor playing back. We're gonna see IG needing a lot of heavy trading, a lot of heavy fighting towards that bottom side. Whoever Shun decides to lock in the jungle role, I think you're gonna be wanting to funnel all of your resources down towards that bottom lane. And for Tarzan, it's gonna be, hey, playing to react, playing to cover, looking for some of these counter ganks, and allowing for Caitlyn to just have the safe and easy laning phase and being able to poke from a distance.
It does feel like LNG, even though they have an Alistar and a Lee Sin, I'm imagining they're going to draft for like slow and steady macro. Right? That's how you play with Caitlyn. It's very similar to when you draft a Ziggs, right? You want to play for siege, you want to play for taking towers. You never actually want to be skirmishing. You want to be setting up somewhere and then fighting, right? Caitlyn needs time to set up her traps. She wants to have kind of long battles of attrition. So anticipate more long-range picks coming out from LNG in the second phase. Hence the Jace ban coming out from IG. With Xin Zhao banned off the board, it's going to be nearly taken away from Shun as well.
I'm curious to see where Shun wants to go with this, right? Because you can think, hey, they already have some early pressure or early prio champions that want to snowball like Samira. Maybe they index their jungle into that area as well. Something like a Rek'Sai Jarvan, theoretically still open as well. Can be quite annoying to play into that bot lane against the Alistar, who can just headbutt you away, not give you the access to finding the targets that you need. Viego has been something that we've seen a bunch of even today, and just going more towards that skirmishing and being like, hey, we have all these champions that can pop off and can reset and look for these team fights. So I think those are your three potential options for IG. I don't know how you link everything up together with a top lane option with the fact that you have the Viktor. But on the side of LNG, I think they're keeping things pretty cohesive. I would expect this TF to be locked in. We know it's one of Doinb's best champions. You can set up to make sure that these powerful plays for the bottom side, for the side of IG, don't happen.
Yeah, we'll have to see. The class, though, Doinb, Twist of Fate, as you say, locked in here, and it means that huge priority towards that bottom lane if they want to go for that. A lot of dive potential, especially alongside an Alistar. And let's be honest, we know LvMao likes to go for a dive. That's well within his comfort zone. It is going to be the Diana locked in, though, for the side of IG, very likely going towards Shun in the jungle role. So Tarzan going to be given a taste of his own medicine here in the jungle.
And it does follow up on the all-in potential that we've hit on for the side of IG. And I love it right now, hovering some potential AD options to pair alongside the Diana and give some setup. They aren't going to go set up. They are just going to go with more damage. So you're relying on either just Diana setting herself up, finding her own windows in like Tarzan did last game, or it's all on Lucas with the Nautilus. IG's comp is kind of interesting because you have a lot of all-in, but you also have a lot of non-committal damage from long range, right? You can have Diana, Nautilus jump in to where it's like, hey, Graves just throws collateral damage, and maybe a Chaos Storm comes out from Lucas. There's a ton of burst, regardless of how they decide to play out fights, though.
Jax, to finish this one out. You know, while Jax may not be super meta right now, it is an absolute signature for Ella. I feel like this is one of the picks that you'd love to see this guy take over the game on. Very good against the Graves because you can dodge a lot of the auto attacks and dodge some of the damage that will come through. I'm liking what we have here from LNG, the pressure that they can put on around the map. It does feel like they never ever want to fight though. They only ever want to fight if it's an unfair fight, right? And you can find those with the Twist of Fate, but the Caitlyn and the Jax, but regardless, they all look very LNG favored. for game number 2. We'll see if IG can do anything from the blue side. Wards down in that bottom lane to kick us off, and it doesn't look like either team has been able to get a deep ward in the jungle just yet. Shun, though, toying with the idea.
Shun maybe going to feel the confidence to walk up. We do see neny hovering down now, but nope, doesn't want to go for it. He's a level 1 Diana. I would not advise you to be looking for any of these skirmishes early on. When we take a look at runes, everything looking pretty stock in standard so far. Doinb, of course, going to go for the Unsealed Spellbook, give him a lot more utility later on in the game. Not necessarily looking to be fighting in laning phase anyway. We know Yuekai should be winning out in terms of these trades. Stronger level 1, stronger once he hits level 3 as well. Has access to his E. Doinb wanting very much a non-interactive laning phase.
Yeah, and I mean, the exact opposite down in this bottom side from Arn and Lucas, right? You've got Samira and Nautilus. You want to be fighting, but that said, not doing so hot in this level 1 so far. Both supports just getting chunked massively, but the longer this fight goes on with lethal tempo, standing in brushes, Caitlyn will win this fight, stacking up their headshots at double the pace while increasing attack speed the entire time. You don't win that.
It also just doesn't help that, sure, you get like a nice trade-off level 1, but the second you're disengaging and walking away, right, Caitlyn's going to have way more agency and range to get more return damage on the way out from IG. So LNG already controlling the wave, already finding nice trades as well.
Worth mentioning as well, Alistar has some sustain. So if you both go to low HP in this lane, well, Caitlyn and Alistar will win in the long term. So not ideal on the side of IG on that level 1 trade. Is neny, nice little dodge back, bit of damage onto Ala as well. Doing a good job in that matchup so far. And a nice ward here from Yuekai moving in to make sure he knows that Tarzan is on the bottom side of the map.
Both junglers are going to play around their strong side on first clear, right? Graves going to be able to push in this Jax, even though Ala is looking for these aggressive trades. And coming out pretty even. Ooh, no, not even now, Munchables. Nice.
I'm not sure I'd call that pretty even. That was a hell of a trade from neny.
He has the biscuits. Huh?
He does have biscuits, I'll give you that. I'm not sure that's enough for anything to happen. Tarzan maybe looking towards the mid lane, though. Yuekai trade pretty aggressively. Doinb doing his best to look juicy. Could get a wild card out here, but not going to go for anything. Not going to look for the stun. Tarzan going to move up alongside Doinb here. neny will reset, but look at this. That will be Scuttle Crab gained by Tarzan, and they could move towards the bottom side as well because Light has priority in that bottom lane.
LNG using the pressure from some of their early lanes to be able to make this happen. Tarzan leaning over mid to help gain priority for his mid laner. Yuekai having to back off, making this advantage possible. And for IG, it's kind of what you'd expect. Even though we hit on like, hey, once they pick the spot lane duo, they want to play towards it early. They want to be aggressive. Well, then you opted into a Diana in the jungle. And it feels like it would be such a risk versus reward situation for Shun, looking for that gank if it doesn't pay off, how far behind you fall in terms of XP and gold, that it just has not been worth it for him. So for IG, I think that is really the only awkward thing about their composition is in terms of when it spikes and how. Again, once we get to mid-game and we're standing 5v5 in front of Dragons, I still think IG will be feeling pretty good. But both junglers right now coming to the bot lane.
They certainly are. Tarzan making his way in through the brushes. He's already here. Hasn't been spotted just yet. Looks like Cannon's gone maybe forwards into that next brush. But I think LNG are just going to clear this wave so Tarzan can move in, sneak a little bit further forwards. If he'd gone all the way around the alcove, he could sneak one brush further in. Cautious for now as Shun moves around through the river here. Try and find an angle themselves. But Diana pre-6, definitely not going to have the same impact as Lee Sin. But regardless, it's not going to happen either.
And for Shun, he's not losing too much in terms of time because all of his camps are down except Krugs. He did Krugs first, then came back to bot. For Tarzan, I get it. You're like, hey, my bot lane's pushing up aggressively. Diana is going to be back down on the bottom half of the map. Let's look for cover. Let's see if they go for an aggressive play and be a counteract. Now all of his camps are back up other than Wolves, so can look to cycle through those once again and try and set up a potential play. Resets coming out on both sides. Some nice spikes coming out. The serrated Dirk in there for a lot of these aggressive trades and ons that we're talking about. Pickaxes across the board on the side of LNG. So no massive power spikes hit yet, but we're starting to get some more power behind our punches.
Yeah, certainly so. And, well, Drake is onto the map beyond the 5-minute mark as Ale just consistently finding these stuns. And neny needs to save his E, needs to use his E more effectively to be able to dodge those away. But he is now level 6. Ale's still level 5. He must be close to hitting that 6 mark. The rest of the team is moving in. For neny, he's baited beautifully. And it will be Lucas that gets the kill credit for that one, unfortunately, for IG, but still a good kill.
Yeah, just nice read. They've seen how aggressive he's been playing all game. They look at this gank on top side. I'm a bit surprised that LNG don't make a more proactive move to bot with the fact that Doinb does have a Destiny open and Samira is by herself. On is going to be able to react now because LNG have spent a fair amount of time making their way towards that dragon. Of course, On did see Doinb just move from lane, so knows when to back off. Could have potentially gotten a kill in return, I think, had you hovered towards mid first, given TF room, make Yuekai back off, and then move your way down, at least deny some CS. But we'll go to the replay top side and see what actually happened for the side of IG. As Munchables has highlighted, we've seen Ala playing so aggressively time and time again, jumping in with his E. This time, IG reacting and punishing it. The trade-off is On falling even farther behind in terms of CS in the bottom lane.
Yeah, it's going to be tough down in that bottom lane, as you say. Like we talked about the matchup a little bit earlier. It's going to be difficult for Samira, but beyond level 6, that's when Samira can find opportunities. Like you find and engage onto that Caitlyn, you will win the all-in, assuming you can stack your passive correctly. Tarzan being quite aggressive here. Moving in, had a pink ward in the entrance, moves his pink ward forward as well. In fact, there's 3 pink wards lined up across the entrance to that jungle. LvMao trying to buy some space as well. This feels like complete control of the bottom side of the map in favor of LNG. Red buff coming up as well, which Tarzan will be able to steal away. And Shun's been spotted. Lucas about to face check. The ward comes in, and now the Moonfall is there. Bit of an overstep, but Light actually survives this one. And that could be bad news for IG. Going to be using his ultimate, and actually just goes straight into the middle. If 3 of them finds a kill, they don't have an answer. Yuekai now moving in, gets onto LvMao. Doinb in trouble here. He does still have his flash available. A gold card will be enough. Light doesn't even need to be a part of the play.
I think key point is it looks like Doinb was coming off of a reset when that all happened. Had he been in mid or even been closer from base, he could have been there faster, could have turned into more kills. This gave so much time for Viktor to be able to follow up as well. The other members of LNG having to back off. We're going to see that here in the replay. IG, they find an opportunity, they go in, they only see 2 members in the brush. Moonfall comes out. Luckily, Light able to get away with a flash and a 90 caliber net. This is where things are looking pretty nice for the side of IG. And I'm surprised! Doinb goes so deep, he is able to get a kill, instantly having to run away, though, from the fact that Viktor did have that time that we were just hitting on.
All right, and suddenly the pace of the game is picked up here, Lyric, because Herald has been started. Shun trying to finish off this blue buff before the Herald fight properly kicks off. But right now, LNG all in position on down in that bottom lane. He's pushing away. So this will just be an LNG. Herald shouldn't be much of a contest. That said, neny needs to be careful. Not sure if LvMao was going to commit something there. Unfortunately, on this Samira, not the greatest at pushing towers. He'll still be able to get a couple of plays for himself, but won't be... you know, when you see a Felios or Jinx down in that bottom side, they just shred the tower. Not quite the same story for Samira, but he'll get a little bit of extra gold for himself. As you can see, Ale has actually moved down towards that bottom side. He'll be the one to match in the bottom lane, as Light's staying up top.
I wonder if they're going to commit to these with the fact that Tarzan isn't just going to go straight top, and you just look for the rotation now of matching bot lanes. Actually, looks like IG are going to be the ones to do that, moving their bot lane up. I kind of would have expected IG wanting to dodge out on the bot lane matchup, though. Even Caitlyn going to have a fair amount of pressure in terms of if they were just trade siding against the Graves. Caitlyn's so impressive with that range advantage that we have. And now we're going to be keeping eyes on what Tarzan wants to do with the Herald. I wouldn't be too surprised to see it used with Caitlyn. Again, use that artillery siege unit. Speaking of Caitlyn, Light has no summoners.
Yeah, he's okay.
But he gets away.
Okay. He's made it out. That did feel a little dicey for a second. When I saw him start the recall in the corner of that brush, I was like, I don't know if that's a good idea. It does mean Light doesn't actually get to go for his reset for the time being, at very least. And we'll stay up in this top side. Tarzan is here, though. Has that Herald. They could slam it if they really want. I don't think this is the angle, though. I think they'll save it and try and use it on a bit more of a proactive play.
I think first they want to get vision. They already have Doinb who can hover over. You get the aggressive vision. You give time for LvMao to get up towards the top side as well because he was coming from reset. And then you can threaten this 4-man dive, which will definitely make the play for Herald a lot more secure. Looks like they are going to win on that one. They get some shallow vision down, so they can look for a bit of a repeat if they want. But Dragon's coming up in 44 seconds, so we know lane allocations are going to swap. Bot laners are going to be heading back to the bottom lane.
Yeah, they can always use the Herald after the fight. And so the reset does come through from the bottom lane of LNG. And once again, LNG, the game plan is clear, right? They're playing for map control. They're playing a smart game of League of Legends. This is the same as game number 1 in the early game. It's all about the macro. This time around, though, IG are doing so much better. Granted, it's been a much quieter game, but they're ahead in gold right now. They're the ones winning on these macro trades. And ultimately, some of that gold will be evened up. Doinb does flash away, gets himself out to safety. The gold will be evened up somewhat when the Herald is dropped down onto one of these lanes. There is already a Drake for LNG, but IG matching here. Moonfall available for Shun. And an empowered recall from Tarzan. No, he's going to stay behind enemy lines. Will not be able to ward hop. Remember, he is playing that Lee Sin with a Herald in his pocket. It's not the ideal situation for a fight. And it looks like LNG not willing to pull the trigger on any available play so far, as White will just get himself another power play here, maybe 2. The Herald 2/3 timed out at this point. Bot lane could be a prime target.
I mean, you're seeing both teams conscious of their win conditions, right? I will pause on that, is, like you're saying, both teams looking for a fight. Tarzan just dropping Herald.
Ooh, drops it down. We'll be able to immediately ward hop out the second he has access to his wards again. He uses one immediately. And I think Light just got an auto on the tower there, so he should get some credit. Yeah, got a bit of gold there. And so, tower goes down. First tower of the game in favor of LNG. That will equalize the gold like we talked about before. Just 500 advantage now in favor of IG. And Drake becomes the objective on everyone's mind once more. As right now, IG are the ones in position to try and go for that. And it looks like LNG are just going to respect it and not continue.
Yeah, like I said, over the last few minutes, we've seen both teams be conscious of certain things that either their comp or the enemy comp wants to do. For IG, they're looking for Dragon, they're looking for an aggressive skirmish, they're walking together as a unit, they're checking behind them to make sure Tarzan can't go for any cheeky flanks, which is really nice. But LNG, on the opposite side of the coin, also know, hey, we're not looking for these fights. We are looking to play the map, we are looking to use the fact that we have champions like Caitlyn and Jax that are pushing in their matchups to be able to move first to get the ship damage down. We have a Herald in that situation to drop, we can bring Doinb over, and at the end of the day, I feel like you're seeing both teams just follow up on what they need to. So overall, LNG, again, performing better than their past 2 series. IG is a team I want to highlight because I feel like we've seen this IG at least show a lot better idea of what they want to do and like how they want to play the game than the previous iteration of IG did, which is really cool when you have so many young and new players on the squad that they are more moldable. You can teach them, you can come out with better drafts like we've seen in some of their past series and better ideas on how to play the game.
Yeah, and it does feel like you're saying, they do have somewhat of an identity. The only issue being they've not been able to consistently, I guess, enact that across the course.
Execute?
Yeah, I guess that's but that said, if they all just build Collector, they'll have lots of executes. So maybe that's the solution.
Yeah, well, you guys heard it here first. Munchables confirming the Collector is better than LDR. Definitely his opinion, as my opinion is that it feels like it's getting ready for some prime time Invictus Gaming action, Munchables, because Rift Herald is going to come up soon. And you know IG, they're gonna try to fight for Rift Herald. Then the question is, can LNG say no? Can LNG look to cross map or do something else? Oh, they're finding a pick.
I don't think we're fighting for Herald. I think we're just fighting on the spot. Here we go, 2-man Moonfall, but it's only going to hit the Alistar ulti. Not much damage. Tarzan sucking the fog on the wrong side of the map. Surely will go down here. And on actually flashing to grab that kill. I feel like that was a little overzealous on the flash. Not necessary, but doesn't matter. Still going to be a positive play ultimately for IG here. Jungler down for the side of LNG. Surely. IG can grab themselves the Herald off the back of this one. Light has to back away in the top lane as well. Wanted to take the tower, but Yuekai moves up. He'll be able to defend.
This is one of our biggest criticisms for LNG, though, that we're seeing on the map right now in week 1. was like the push and pull in your side lanes of knowing like when to walk up and when to back off. And they're doing it quite nicely, right? They're 3-man core pushing into enemy jungle. You see all of IG showing. Caitlyn's hitting tower. Okay, they go react to Caitlyn pushing tower top. Ala knows I can move up and hit tower. The push and pull, getting damage down, of being able to play the full map. I don't know what happened to LNG in the few days since their last game, but things are looking a lot nicer. Even just, you can't just boil it down, I think, to the level of IG either. Because even conceptually, I think things look a lot better for the side of LNG for how they want to play the game.
Yeah, I mean, like, they've got clear, coherent drafts. They're going into these games with an obvious game plan, with a plan that they can execute. And compositions like this, honestly, are not that popular in the LPL. And they usually don't do that well in the LPL. Usually,
I hate them.
We like just the 5v5 team compositions in the LPL.
Yep.
But for LNG, this is working out beautiful.
And we're going to see replay here. Destiny comes out straight into the gold card. Channeling the ult about an inch away. And, yeah, I think I would have preferred a replay.
Pro view of Doinb.
I'm not sure either. I would have actually preferred a pro view of On flashing over that red buff wall for the kill.
Yeah, I don't know. But hey, Doinb with his sick mechanics, as always.
I didn't see any timer spanned much. I'm disappointed.
True. 0 timer spam, actually, now you mention it. It's because he couldn't see his keyboard because of the smoke bomb and Graves. OP ability. Well, Shun can now slam the Herald mid if he wants to. Tower down to half HP, but it looks like they're not going to commit to that, at least for the time being. Then again, they are going to commit to that. They just didn't want to do it right then and there because they wanted to make me.
Very easy to do.
Oh, it's got me real deep there, Larry. I hurt my feelings quite badly there.
Whoa, you're from the UK. You guys are all about the banter. Just like IG are all about the banter, Munchables, except neny. He needs to be protected. But I want to hit on one of your points. Okay. Sorry, I was scared. I thought something was going to happen. Oh, wait. Something might happen, Munch.
Where's the neny protection squad? Tarzan is here. It's not going to happen. Neny gets out. He protects himself because he's a strong, independent top laner. Don't need no one, okay? And in the meantime, Shun, strong, independent jungler who don't need no team to set up no Drake. He's going to be able to get himself Drake. Chemicals are happening in the Drakes. That will be 2 Drakes. 4.
You know, Munch, I have a bold prediction that follows up on a point you made earlier about these compositions. You know, specifically LNG comp not being very popular anymore. I feel like a big thing about that is ever since souls have been in the game, playing comps like this is so hard because you pretty much have to concede every dragon because you can't win 5v5s, right? So I'm actually going to make a bold prediction and say I think IG can probably take this game. I think IG can just keep looking for dragons uncontested. LNG look like they're just going to continuously opt into the cross map and try and find gold advantages that way, which they're really not. They're only 200-300 gold ahead. Hope Ala could split push. And at the end of the day, we're going to be staring in front of a Chemtech soul that LNG have to fight for. And again, IG just have more tools in a 5v5.
And I will say, on the point of like the way that the game has changed over the years, like split push used to be so much more popular than it is, and you're saying that that's down to there being the Dragon Soul in the game. Well, I like the approach Riot is doing where every new champion is completely soulless, and so therefore reducing the amount of soul in the game, and hopefully trying to balance that out again. So fingers crossed, over the course of time, that will resolve itself. Ala's certainly hoping so. He's got a Sheen, though, so he will be able to hammer away at Tarzan. And it's worth mentioning that all LNG need to do to enact this win condition is stay close enough to fighting that IG want to fight, but also far enough away from fighting that they can't fight. And then Ala can just do whatever he wants.
The decent thing for LNG in regards to that is the fact that you have Nautilus hook or like a flash ultimate or Shun jumping in. That's it. Those are the only 2 things you have to look out for. Those are 2 very dangerous things that if light mispositions can kill him instantly, but at least the other 2 members part of your 1-3-1 squad is Alistar, who has the ultimate and can knock you away. You have the Lee Sin as well, who can look for the kick. So I feel like it could be worse for LNG's 3-man core if IG had more engage options available. So maybe they'll be able to play on that edge. Still a few minutes away from Dragon, but LNG still not able to find too much. You would expect Doinb to be looking to push out this wave, start roaming towards mid, and then potentially look for a pick with that Destiny.
In the game, he does have that rapid fire cannon as well, so the pick's definitely a good option, so long as there's someone there to deal the damage, right? Obviously, Doinb's not going to do very much damage by himself right now, but can help his teammates. But it does feel like a very slow game. As I say, that potential pick onto Shun, that's going to be the for us to follow up. Stopwatch uses LvMao. Went in. He is real tanky, and that's still going to be a kill. LvMao surely answers for this one with his own life. Tarzan will be able to back away. It's just going to be a support for a jungler. But honestly, LNG will take that trade.
LNG being fast to pull the trigger. We knew what play they were going to look for. It was the only play available on the map, and with no real objectives that are easily able to be taken right now, LNG need to be looking for ways to increase their gold lead. And it looks like they're going to keep doing it with Tarzan here.
Go for a 2v2 here. Tarzan can certainly one-shot him if he finds that angle. Tarzan spot, though, by the Scryer's orb. I mean, go for that for the time being. I will say, one thing that, in theory, I was expecting to be the case would be that Tarzan is starting to build a CS lead, right? Because we keep on seeing Ale go for the Krugs. We keep on seeing this pressure in the bot side. Surely that means Shun can't farm. Well, Shun is still 30 CS up somehow. I don't exactly know how that's worked out.
This is why Munchables, because he's in lanes, taking waves. But for this play, LNG had the setup from top side, Doinb pushing out, makes his way over to mid. Again, LNG need to be looking for these opportunities proactively. Nice follow-up coming out from the members of IG. Did blow their teleports for that play, so if LNG look for the same setup once again, IG won't be able to follow up with all 5 members this time. For LNG, they should have their waves in order by Dragon. I wonder if IG will commit to actually catching them or if they just head straight to Dragon. Because if you opt into catching them, you're giving LNG a chance to enact their win condition of just moving Doinb down first and looking for those picks. So I like what IG instead decided to do of just all moving towards mid.
Look at LNG stacked in a bush. They've swept it. They know nobody knows they're there just yet. Lucas is suspicious, but his sweeper is about to run out. Here's another ulti from Doinb. Wants Shun. Find the gold card, but can't quite follow up on that one for the time being. LNG regain control of River once again. The flash forward, Doinb the target. Knockup does come on through. Does have a stopwatch available if he needs it here. And will block the Moonfall with that ability. Light hammering away in the meantime. As Tarzan just narrowly dodges. That is a big old crit going through onto Shun. And LNG find themselves a nice pick here. Doinb low on HP, but he will walk away into the fog. Tarzan staying on the scene. IG trying to muscle their way in, though, regardless of the fact that they just lost a player. They still seem to want to contest this one. They don't have a smite available.
For IG, it seems like they're still hoping for the fight with so many tools down. I think they should just back off. They are finally doing that now. And we saw for the side of LNG, I'm wondering if IG are still going to posture Allah. Okay, not going to find anything. Luckily, IG are not just throwing away this game out of nowhere. For IG, I think it makes sense what they're doing, but man, the value of stopwatches, the value of flashes in that fight really saving LNG, giving them time to whittle other people down and turn that into an objective. So we're still consciously seeing LNG know the dangers that the IG comp presents and being able to play their own to a T.
Stuff so far from LNG, and again, it's good to see this somewhat clean play from LNG, right? Understanding their win condition, playing towards it, and we said we wanted to see more execution from both of them. Well, we've got a collector on either side now. We've got On with a collector, we've got Light with a collector. Execution off the charts right now.
There are a bunch of squishy members on both sides. Only supports being the tankier champions right now. Also, interestingly, we have Doinb. Looks like he's making his way towards a Banshee's Veil. Gonna put some respect on the fact that there is double AP mid jungle on the opposite side, and he doesn't just want to get bursted out. Now for IG, I think what we're looking at is them playing around these cooldowns, right? Playing around flashes on the enemy team, playing around stopwatches being available and things like this. IG should be looking to force fights. Where is this coming from? Okay, it doesn't look like LNG should have a window.
Oh,
Wait, they do!
Mid. Doinb actually goes onto on hit. Oh, but he misses the Everfrost. Exhaust goes down instead. Gold card forces a flash. On gets out with his life, but that cost him both of his summoner spells here. Now still wants to get going on this one. Blue Trinket used. Wait, Shun accidentally used his Zhonya's. That could be huge. Now the push in the mid lane. LNG just completely deny entry to the mid lane from their opponents of IG. Get some good damage down onto the tier 2 tower here. They can't set up in siege properly, but even still, great little setup there. And that could have been so much worse for IG. I thought they were going to be able to punish the Zhonya's. I don't think LNG saw that Zhonya's was used.
I don't think they did either. Really nice utilization of the Destiny there. Didn't look like there would be a window for him to capitalize on. Forcing summoners from on, which is funny because the point I was just about to make before that pick happened is that IG are the comp where you want to be looking to force skirmishes, I'd say about a minute and a half, 2 minutes before an objective pops up to be able to blow summoners. So then at the objective fight, you don't have to worry about a flash on light or a stopwatch on, you know, someone like the Lee Sin. You can just go in with your full combo and run out the fight. So for IG, you're probably answering waves for the next like 30 seconds. Get those pushed out. Start looking to group one of your side laners up, probably neny with how far you just pushed out that bot lane, and seeing if you can try and get some summoner spells out from someone like Light in mid lane with your Nautilus.
See if they're going to be able to find those. I mean, the potential window of opportunity on exists to an extent, right? The one problem is Samira sucks as a target for Twisted Fate. You just press W, block his gold card. It doesn't do anything. Find that. IG muscle in towards the Baron. And a TP coming through into the bottom lane from Doinb. LNG are just going to try and race. I guess the recall coming through from Shun is trying to protect this bottom tier 2 tower. And I wasn't even sure if Ally was going to commit to that one then. Will go for it in the end. Doinb hanging around to support his top laner and actually go for a dive instead. neny having to use his flash and his ultimate just to try and survive. But now they spotted Yuekai up in the top side, using that ultimate from Doinb, getting vision everywhere. Yuekai will finish the tower, but he's got to go down. He's got to be punished for this one. Light trying to move closer, does have the Gale Force. There's no way that no at least assist is taken on this one. And Light will finish that kill with a headshot. Nice net to find that headshot for himself. Pick on the enemy mid laner is not enough for a go button for Baron right now.
LNG playing both sides of the map, using things like the TP on the Twisted Fate, going to the bot side, securing that tower, at the same time while looking for picks aggressively top. IG, looking at their composition, are like, hey, their Twisted Fate just went bot, their top laner doesn't have TP, can we force Baron? I think realize they don't have the best Baron burn damage at this point. I think for IG, you still should have committed to it, called LNG's bluff, and tried to get a 4v3 fight at Baron against the 3-man core of LNG. They didn't do that, so they ended up losing on both sides of the map. Now, Dragon up in 10 seconds. Still very close.
Okay, gets out on a ward hop. That was a little scary. neny off on the side as well. LvMao had to tank up, though, and actually going to lock neny up instead. Gold card available for Doinb. Does not have flash. Has an ignite available, and that's his only summoner for the time being. But look at these traps set up by Light. This is what we talked about before. Caitlyn wants to set up in advance of a fight. Tarzan dashes away once more. He wants to finish him off, but find the angle. It needs the reset here, as we're going to just have a 50-50. It was neny to take the dragon. And it is going to be now sole point for IG. And IG actually, with an inside track on the mid lane, inside track on the Baron as well. IG have their pick of the litter on where they want to go on the map.
IG, just go up towards top side, get some of your vision set up around Baron so you can see exactly what LNG are going for. And IG want to bait a fight. They know that they're stronger in 5v5s. They do need to be careful, though, like we saw in front of Dragon, because all summoner spells are up for the side of LNG. Yuekai!
Oof. Tarzan can't quite find the kick. Actually used his flash for that as well. And Yuekai mind controls Tarzan into trying to get the kick so he can't go for the steal. It's a Baron for IG. Lyric, you predicted that IG was going to somehow find a miraculous win in this game. Well, that swing is definitely going to help them.
I just see a composition that wants to run at the enemy and fight, and I think, you know what? this looks easy. This team will probably win. Game not over. Baron, super nice. Soul Point, definitely solid for IG. I think at this point in time with the game state, they are definitely favored, but LNG not counting out just yet. Destiny is back up for Doinb. So we already seen pushing out top lane. He's already making his way towards mid. You can try and find some of those picks. Ala, though, not on the map, but he does have TP.
Available if he can get involved. I think he just wants to stay as far away from everyone else as possible, though. Like you say, this is not a composition that's going to win the 5v5 from LNG. Now we need to see them get creative. I know we keep talking about it all day. This is the last mention, I promise. But we need to see the mojo from LNG, and we might just see it here as On uses the wind wall, blocks that one. Be able to keep himself alive. The attempted pick is now onto Lucas. They go. All available for Shun. He's waiting for everyone to group on the side of LNG. Another gold card, another bit of damage. LNG struggling to find the picks.
I mean, you can see the desperation coming out from LNG. They're like, hey, we know we aren't going to win the next fight. They have Baron right now, so they're going to push us in. We need to find some of these picks while they're still making their way onto the map. Heck, neny didn't even come in a TP to the bottom side once those engages came out because the team was calm. They were confident. They knew they could get out. And now for IG, they're going to be pushing in 2 waves. Should probably be able to get both of these inner turrets. And even a pressure on an inhibitor. Still a minute left on this Baron.
IG are out macroing LNG here. This is beautiful to witness. And if you told me, if I didn't know anything about LPL and I saw these two teams, I would not think IG was a team of basically rookies across the board. The longest standing player on this team, only having played for, what is it, 2 splits, 1 split? Fantastic stuff here from IG. And now in control of the game, finally, with a gold lead. And Ale trying to find some pressure in the bottom side, but it's just not working out for him. And now getting TP'd on as well. This could be really bad news for Ale. Might be able to go for a 1v1 or just a ward hop out to safety. Is playing that Jax. Jax exceptionally difficult to gank, so unfortunately for IG, will just be a waste of TP.
Yep, it's going to be able to get away. Gold is surprisingly still even with the push that just came out from IG. And, you know, you're talking about, like, the map movements that IG are making in the past minute. And I kind of feel like it's like IG are doing math with a supercomputer and LNG are using a calculator. Those are my personal feelings about how these comps interact in 2022. We've already hit on things like Dragon Soul and just a lot of changes to the game where I feel like the side of LNG is not impossible. It is just very hard to where for IG, your presence as like a 5-man squad just gives so much threat to LNG. You have so many more options. So the supercomputer is working out quite nicely, but the calculator, it's not over just yet.
It's one of those maths calculators though. They can still draw graphs and stuff, so it's possible.
Yes.
You know, if they can draw the right, if they can figure out sin, cos, tan, all of that kind of good stuff, it's still possible to make the triangle. That's what LNG, they need to make a triangle. They are looking sort of triangular formation-wise, question mark, right now with Ale getting a flank before this Drake comes up. 30 seconds time, and this would be the soul in favor of IG if they're able to get it for themselves. Doinb trouble here, needs to just try and clear this wave because IG,
God, Lucas,
they're just
gonna
gonna push
dodge
down
these,
mid.
brother.
Lucas is in trouble right now.
So low much.
Oh, look at the 5-man pulverized from LvMao and LNG. They're just going to commit to a 5v5 anyway, but this is not how the composition works. And, you know, look, that was a great cue from LvMao. Nobody can take that away from him. But he just dies. There's no follow-up. This team doesn't work like that. Oh, my days. Nearly a pick onto Shun. neny protects his jungler. And now we're moving to the Drake. Now we're moving to the point where LNG have to show us what they are worth. Keep your eyes on the jungler of IG. Never mind, he's gone! He's vanished like a magic trick, and now damage across the rest of the team. Light trying to finish people off. The trap goes down. The headshot finishes the kill. The smite is there. The dragon for LNG, and now looking for a little bit more as well. Damage across the team. On needs to get some style points stacked up. There's a kill going the way of our Viktor here. Gold card primed, waiting for an opportunity. Trap underneath the Zhonya's. I don't think he was in range. It is going to be 3 versus 3 here. The headshot through. But it's not going to happen. We reset once more. It's a dragon apiece away from Soul. And that wild card so close to finishing on.
I gotta say, man, that was such clutch factor coming out from Ala. My God, seeing the opportunity, instantly flashing in and going for it. Now, like you said, 3-3 in Dragons. We're both on Soul Point. This game is literally going to be decided by one more fight, it feels like. We're going to go instantly to replay. Keep your eyes on him. Light chunking him out a little bit. The other members of IG getting zoned off. I think it was even before the gravity field. I think the members of IG need to be more confident, more aggressive, walking forward to not let that happen. We do see On positioning quite aggressively to find some kicks of his own. Ala going forward, left in a position where he's just going to go down. And then, you know, this is where we left off. This 3-person stare down in front of Dragon. And, yeah, Munch, one more time. 3 minutes, 40 seconds. Or heck, maybe we go for a Baron right now.
You know what, Lyric? We go again. It's what we do. It's going to be a TP for Doinb to join the rest of his squad. Ala trying to push up in that top side, trying to get some pressure on the side lane, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. LNG, they just need one good fight and they might be able to just end the game from this point. It's 36 minutes in. The death timers are going to start to get obscene here. That said, IG with the better composition to go for just fighting. They've got the better composition for this style of gameplay that we're seeing. Ala trying to get that pressure in the top side. Remember, LNG are just buying time for Ala to be able to get damage done in the side lanes. The items right now, if he's left alone with a tower, he'll shred it.
I do want to say, importantly, look that Light has a stopwatch up. We have Zhonya's up for Doinb, but Ala can look for the engage.
Neny going to be stunned up. Can they finish this one off? I don't think they're going to commit. They know that the rest of IG was moving over. They don't actually want a fight. They just want a pick. Again, LNG playing on a knife's edge here.
Both teams are, right? Because one wrong move, even on the side of IG, let's say you see an angle as Shun to go in and find a Moonfall. You use that too early, use that on someone who does have a GA or who does have a stopwatch, which now there's 2 GAs and Azani's in a stopwatch on the side of LNG. So they could survive that initial burst. And if they could do that, you have the DPS from Caitlyn and Jax following through. So the smallest of mistakes, or even on a positive side, right? If one member of either team can find a window, if Tarzan can find a way to maybe get on Yuekai, if you can catch someone on transition like we've been seeing from the Destiny from Doinb, that can just be a game changer right there. IG want to force a fight now.
Look how fast they just burned through this Baron. They've slowed their DPS, but it's down to less than half. Tarzan needs to come up clutch. They're just going to 50-50 this one. Tarzan into the pit. He can't get it, though. Uses the GA. That's one pick. It's a kill in favor of LNG so far. Tarzan stuck in the pit, and in goes LvMao to try and protect his jungler. Out of the side they go, and now Traps underneath these players. It's like popping off with the headshots, and Doinb doesn't want to let them escape. LNG, I don't know how they've managed to do it, but they're looking for the fight win. It's a triple kill for Light. Another gold card goes down. Another trap under the toes, and a quadra kill for Light. LNG make the impossible possible.
And that is just absolutely ridiculous. IG force the Baron. They get the Baron. Tarzan goes in. That GA buys enough time for the other members of LNG to follow through, and LNG are going to get the win.
They are just going to shred these towers. I cannot believe it ends like this. The dead time is long enough, and LNG, after all of that, after everything, they take a 2-0 victory. And once again, it wasn't the cleanest game we've ever seen, but they picked a difficult composition and they managed to pull it off anyway.
I think overall, there's just props to LNG for the series. Game 1, super clean until they started to have a bit more fun with it for a little while. Still very clean and methodical. Game 2, they pull out this composition, which we see again does require more nuance, does take